Now, when we're not on YouTube, I'm going to tell you when my dad decided to retire. The last act, but I don't want this to be on YouTube. The last act before, in 1971, he decided to retire. When he said, I guess maybe it's time for me to walk away from this shit. Okay, YouTubers. We have, I'm not sure whether, we got a lot of people that have said that they want to come to listen to me at the Oxford Guild. Unless they get a bigger room, I'm not, a lot of you guys that, maybe they will give us a bigger room. I don't know. Right now, we don't need any Oxford students. I'll put it to you that way. But right now, the format is I'm going to talk for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'm going to Q&A, questions for an hour and 15 minutes. That's the format, supposedly now. And then they're taking me out to dinner and being nice to me or something like that, which I'm appreciative of. But I'm when the seminar is over in a few days, I'll start preparation for my talk at Oxford, and then I'm gonna but I'm looking forward to it. And I've been before you guys got here, I was studying some of the other people that have spoken in recent years. I won't be patterning myself after Bill Clinton's speech, but a few other luminaries had some interesting things to say. We've been spending this afternoon about how to get rid of fear, and I told you about Teddy Roosevelt. He wrote a book about it, and basically it's throwing yourself the hardest thing. And just when you're doing your weekly reports, when you think of your alternatives, your three alternatives, if you think of the shittiest one that's going to make you sick to the stomach the most, that's the right answer. I can just tell you, 99% of the time, that's the right answer. Because you will inadvertently try to, okay, I can stab you in the heart, or I can stab you in the arm. Well, since if I stab you in the arm, it's likely you might die, right? So, stab me in the arm. So but you'll weenie and wishy-washy about your answers, and that's all in the first few weeks. But by the third or fourth month, you will know. I was going to send it to you, Mr. P, but I know it's just a weenie. I know the answer you'd give me, because you do. You do, because you'll see the fact pattern of my answers to you based on the questions that you give to me, and you'll know straight away. And that's what the exercise is meant to do. It gets you to think in a different way. And and you will. And the more that you practice it, the better you'll get at it. Kira's pretty good at it for 5 weeks. Not bad. If you're listening to Kira, you didn't spend much time on the first 2 weeks where you were bloodied and beaten and stepping on your dick and making. She didn't mention any of that, but that's all history now. Doesn't make a damn. But she's learned, and not just Kira, but several of the kids. And some of the kids are moving slower. And as I told you, some of you will come out of the gates like jackrabbits, and some of you will come out like three-toed sloths. Everybody know what a sloth is? Three-toed sloth. But remember, a turtle can't move forward unless it sticks its neck out, and it's very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. And some of you will grasp that easier than others. It has nothing to do with your education, has nothing to do with any of that. What it really has to do with is how much emotional risk you've taken in the past, how beat up you've been. If you haven't ever been beat up, and I don't mean physically, that helps, but if you haven't been beat up emotionally because you've been so afraid of taking risk, emotional risk, then it'll take longer for you. Because, you've learned at 25, 30, 35, 45 years old how to avoid those risks. So you've gotten good at it. It's, like Mr. Teflon. You know how to dodge. And what the QLA reporting system does is it doesn't allow you to dodge. You got to take the responsibilities head on, because we make you responsible, we make you accountable. And the more accountable you are, the faster it goes. And you're going to hear a couple kids tomorrow and the next day that have, not tomorrow, maybe the next day, that have actually spent 2.5 months in one area and then decided they didn't want that area. So they pivoted. Now, just imagine, you lose everything, you don't have any more board, and start over again. But he decided, and rightfully in his case, that, why spend time on something you're not going to like in 6 months? And of course, he's got my wrath beating on him that, fuck, you're 5 months into this, but he made the right decision for himself. He made the right decision for himself. And but as we said, Kira bought her $600 report. She's not the only one, believe me. We've got people that have spent thousands on reports. We've had people hire consultants to do surveys, to validate their idea. I mean, it's, better that you give the money to the starving children in Biafra or someplace. I mean, rather than, because you don't need that. You certainly don't need it. And again, it's because they need some extra validation. You need some extra validation. When you were growing up, you wanted some validation by your mom or your dad, maybe, or a teacher, or whatever. I didn't get too much of that validation until I came back and went to university after I was out of the Army. Then I got a lot of validation, accolades. Every time how fucking smart I was. 5 years before, I was as thick as 2 short planks. That means stupid. And now 5 years later, same school, same fucking professors, I'm a fucking genius. Needless to say, I took that with a grain of salt. Of course, you get 100 on the exam, and before you got 10 on the exam, you're an idiot at 10, and you're a genius at 100. But I mean, in some of the professors, I had the privilege of getting the second time around when I came back to school. They were still there, and they wondered what happened to me. Did I have a brain operation, or did I have this, that? They weren't sure how I could make such a transition. But I came back focused, laser beam focused. I mean, it was something to prove to myself. Any questions? Who's my 5 o'clock? Okay. And is there enough weight in there? Barely enough. Just enough. I know it's good.
I'd say it's more Mexican than Irish.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Well, we've got a Lebanese lifter, the guy from before, that's in the kebab business. Ray, if you're listening, kebab business. And he tried to sell an idea of a healthy kebab. Now, by definition, I didn't know kebabs were healthy, but maybe, but anyway, he's not doing that now. A healthy kebab. And he fights to not lose weight, eating all the time. Which I'm jealous of that, because I wish I could eat all the time, because I love the taste of food. Tonight we're eating in the pavilion. Tonight we have, is it Indian food? Yeah. Tonight, curry night. We used to let you go, but the guys didn't want to go. They want to stay here. So they're all in the kitchen with Sally. Can we, so we stopped the going out nights, and so we just feed you here. Tonight is curry, and then in 2 nights it's fish and chips night, where we have a fish and chips van come here, park out in the back, and they make you all bad shit. And, fish and sausages and all kinds of bad shit. It's delicious, though. And some of the guys like to have it with a pints, plural, or wine. But tonight is the curry night. No questions then? Okay, guys. Thank you, YouTube. We'll see you in the morning. Thanks, guys. To learn more about this video and all my videos, you lazy cunts, click on this link below. Or you can go to my website, danpeña.com, and see all the fucking free material from the $50 billion man.